background on the overall system. So we started creation of the competition system over a year ago in the midst of the pandemic. This was primarily entirely funded by Sport England, and obviously we're incredibly grateful to them for funding this. We've interlinked it with our membership system. So the reason why is obviously there's got to be a benefit to all the members for signing up to a membership. So part of that is having this competition system. So within that, Trevor will go into more detail on the next slide. However, the membership system is fundamentally linked with the CMAT system. So whenever we have a competition, people register, they enter, all the details are on there, and it's drawn through a thing called an API. So what that is like a link cable between the membership system and the competition system, and it draws all that details in. So if someone's got, you know, a specific way they spell their name, or they're part of a certain club, all that data is drawn down through this API. So if a club, for example, isn't affiliated, they won't be showing up on the system in the future. If a member's not got a live membership, they can't register to the event, and their names won't be drawn down because they don't have a live membership. So things like that are all interwoven into this API. So within that background, before the system was created, British Wrestling put together a competition season. So obviously you guys should be aware of this by now, but just in case you're not, there are different levels within that competition season. As you can see on the slide, it goes through the varying levels from club level all the way up to international. We'll share these slides with you later so you can have a little bit closer look at it. But within the competition system, there will be, you know, those different levels that will be catering for it. Just keep an eye out for the website for any new updates to the system. So things like leagues and what have you. So yeah, over to you, Trevor, on the membership system.
Okay, so whatever the event is, we'll need a set of information, and a list down the left-hand side, you'll see sort of thing we're looking for. So the type of event fits in with the star system, but that also determines what kit to be worn. So if you want a novice event, and you don't want them to have to buy a singlet, you can go for a 2-star event, which means providing the kit is tight and safe and they have a red and a blue, you know, you can see one's red, one's blue, then that'll do. So it's to allow people just to get a foot on the ladder. Once it hits to the 3-star, which is a major club, then you need singlets to participate. So if you need to determine which level your club is, or your competition is. Same with the level of membership to participate. Inter-clubs can be a recreational, but once it goes to more than 3 clubs, it becomes a competition. So you need competition level of membership. So Stuart has just asked, what's your question, Stuart? Do you want to unmute and ask?
If it's lower than a 3-star and you're running this competition, can you insist on them wearing singlets, or?
You can. It's your call within the regulations. It's your competition.
We do encourage, like any novice events, just not to scare people off. You don't need to wear a singlet type of thing, just to try and draw in more participants in general. Because we found, like I found in a few bodyweight sports, if they wear a singlet, it kind of scares off participants.
Is it on yet? Is it? Yeah, it's on.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
What's this for, Killy? Sorry.
It's just Oh, glad you could make it, Healy's.
Yeah, so it's your call, but you know, but what we're saying, we're attacking it more from the other side to allow people not to wear singlets, but there's a certain level above which you have to wear a singlet. Below that, it's out of the call. Obviously, the level of the membership, and categories and restrictions. So this is where you go for age and experience. So we do have a novice section now, where in the Midlands we determine a novice for our purposes is 2 competitions or less. So, you know, that's how we determine, but you can make your own determination. It's your comp. Typical things like deadlines, mat sizes, the shape of the mat, that's a little bit more aimed at leagues and interclubs.
Yeah. So
that you don't have to have a full-size mat with a circle on. If your club hasn't got it and you want to run an interclub, as long as you tell people what they're wrestling on, then it's their decision whether they come or not. Stuff like spectators, do you want to charge them? We advise people to get spectators to book on, especially since COVID. You will need to record who's in the room as far as possible. And also it gives us a view as a governing body of how many people are actually watching our events, because we've never known.
Setting COVID aside, there's also the fire regulations as well. So
yeah,
just bearing
well,
that.
that's the next one. Fire and safety. Yeah.
Yeah.
So most venues now are getting aware of their venue size. So they will tell you how many people you can have in the venue. So that can really seriously restrict you. It did us in the Midlands. You know, those who've been to Wirksworth, we were limited to 200 people in Wirksworth. And that just really made the competition hard to manage. Obviously the cost, but we've got a sort of, I've shared with Ranjit, because he's running the next one in the Midlands, just a pro forma type of page we want. I do want it on Word just as a sidebar, because I can't put a PDF in the Go membership. So, so what was next? Was the next thing me? Anything else? Pay on the door. Yeah, we sort of covered the fact that anything more than three clubs is not an interclub. You know, so 1, 2, and 2 and 3 is an interclub. 4 is an actual competition. So you have to think more.
But that, okay. Does that not depend on how many's in the club, Trevor?
Well, no, not really, because what we're saying is an interclub it isn't, you know, you have to specify the number of clubs, and we've decided that any more than 3 is not an interclub event. It's a mini comp, so therefore it comes with its own rate.
Even though one club could have 1 competitor.
Well, why would you invite a club with only 1 competitor?
Well, it's like something that has to happen. I mean, there's clubs over here that haven't got very many members. You know,
okay.
So if we were to get 4 clubs together over here, and there was 10, 15 people there, how did you call that a competition?
Stuart, should we pick this up?
Yeah, we can pick this up later, Stuart, and we can discuss it. So, but that was the decision. So, next slide is back to you, Andy.
So yeah, back to the actual system. So we gave you a bit of a quick overview of how an event runs. Now we'll most likely be doing a workshop or an event in terms of how to run competitions or like that element. We're already developing a step-by-step guide around that anyway. So that will be released at some point once it's completed. So back to the system. So the first things first is creating an account. So it might sound fairly simple and straightforward, but sometimes people can get stuck on this because it's a new system to them. So we thought it'd be prudent to look over that. So if you already have an account with us on our membership system with British Wrestling, we've made sure that you can merge those 2 accounts with obviously your competition system with your membership system. So the way we've done that is you follow the link obviously to the CMATs. So that's live, it's online. What you can do is then when you go on that link, it takes you to this page that you can see here. Now what you want to do is set up an account and start following the screen prompts there using your British Wrestling account details. So they've got to be the same as your British Wrestling account details. The reason why we say this is part of that API, that link between the membership system in this is it looks for your username, your account details. So if you use, say your username is your email address, for example, you put that in with the rest of the account details, and it will prompt you to say, right, do you want to merge your British Wrestling account with the CMAT system? And obviously you say yes, because then the two merge and then you have the same login details as you do, so you don't have to worry about remembering two different passwords. So has anyone got any questions around that before I move on to the next slide? You all good? Cool.
Andy, just one question. If
Yes.
you forget to merge your account, can it be done at a later stage, or is it too complex after that?
I'll have to get back to you on that, Ranjit. That's a very good question. I think it does prompt you, just not as obviously as the first time, because the first time it kind of fills the screen with a huge pop-up to say, do you want to merge your account? But
if you don't merge your account, I don't think you get most of the benefits. So I think it's almost a compulsory, because
we'll show you the benefits further along in the slides. So Trevor doesn't steal my thunder.
Yeah, okay.
Awesome. So once you've logged in and you've got your user details, you've gotten into the account, you get two different versions. You'll have a user dashboard type viewpoint, which is a calendar view. But if you're an administrator, which you guys, if you be running events, you'll see something similar to this. Now, this is the dashboard for me and Trevor as admin staff. So when we log in, we see all the competitions, and then down the left-hand side, you get all the options. Now, there's a little blue. I don't know. Actually, do I have my little pointer? Pointer options. There we go. So down here on the left side here, this little blue button will open up the side menu. Now it's the same on mobile device, so you can view this on any electronic device, be it your tablet, your laptop, your phone. Now we advise you use this main dashboard on a laptop or a tablet device if you're stuck for technology. But for the score sheet, which we'll come on to later, you can use anything from a tablet to your phone. If you it's not designed for a laptop is the main point the main thing to point out on there. So next slide. So navigating the actual dashboard, this is what it'll look like when you see the event, it'll have it either been a completed event or a closed event or an event that's open. Now, when you find your event, you click select, obviously, and it'll take you to the dashboard for that event. So across the top, you'll see your athletes, how many officials, how many sessions of the event, how many bouts you have in total. And then it'll also show you how many of the athletes have weighed in and how many bouts have been completed. Now, we've actually recently changed that from percentages to how many actual people have been completed. So Selena, you'll like that one. It's gone from percentages to actual. So if you have 40 athletes, it'll tell you 20 athletes out of 40 have weighed in. And instead of it showing you a percentage for bouts, now it's actually showing you, right, if you've got 400 bouts, you've done 320 bouts. So it's a little bit easier then to understand, right, how many bouts you got left. And then across the bottom here, you'll have a little taskbar, so to speak, of all the different categories. So it could be your senior male, your senior female, and so on and so on. And then it'll reach to friendlies on the far right. Then you've got your different weight classes and how many people are in each weight class. So that's how it'll look once you've imported things. But we'll go into that on the next slide. So once you're in there, it will look more like this, where you'll have no actual weight classes or anything like that. So it's got no categories available. Now, the reason being is you haven't imported the data yet. So that what you do is you click this green button here. Now, don't worry. Once we've gone through all the slides, we'll actually go into the live system and show you what it looks like. So it's in like a full screen, so you can see in a little bit more detail. And we're working on giving you all access to this to play with as well. So that's something we're working on at the minute. So once you've clicked this green import button, what that does is it draws down the data from the membership system. So it sends a signal to the membership system. It's looking for the Midlands Regional Championships. And then it draws down all the participants from that event that are booked on the membership system into this, and then it starts generating things. So from Trevor, have I missed anything from there? Would you like to chime in with anything before we move on to the next bit?
No, I'll chime in. Oops, I hit the hand, so how do I put it down? Okay, so take it down. No, I'll chime in as and when I see something. So
Grand. So next bit is across the top, you'll have this sessions button. You can actually click that. It's interactive. So all these buttons across the top, you can click them and it'll take you to various lists and bits of data. So when you click the sessions button, it'll bring you to this taskbar or this dashboard. This is where you start creating your mats, your sessions, and start allocating bodyweight classes. So from there, you just click this little plus button and it'll take you to this little drop-down menu. So from there, you want to select add mat, because the first thing you want to do is you add your mat before you can add your sessions, because if you add your sessions, there's no mat to allocate them to, so you're a bit stuck. So you add your mat, and it's as simple as this pops out from the side of the menu, and you name your mats as whatever you want. It could be mat 1, mat 2, mat 3, or mat A, B, and C. Entirely whatever you would like to do. And then you save that. So you've got to click save, otherwise it won't save. And then from there, then you can assign a session to that mat. So within that, you name your session. So it could just be session 1, or mat 1, session 1, mat 1, session 2, and then mat 2, session 1, mat 2, session 2. You know, it's however you want to lay them out, but we tend to advise to be simple on it, because if you start going a little too complicated on it, you'll not be able to find anything. The spectators won't be able to find anything when they're starting to look through the bout lists, which we'll show you later. So keeping it simple is always a best bet to win. Don't worry so much about. Oh, sorry, Trevor. Go on.
yeah, if you put mat 1 in there and mat 2, session 1, session 2, it remembers that for the future. So you know, if you use the same laptop or computer, you only have to do it once and it remembers it.
Yeah. So if you use, say, Chrome, for example, it'll just automatically remember that, so auto fills it later on in the future. Oh yeah, Jess, have you got a question? Oh, you're on mute, Jess.
Is this compatible with Mac as well? Is it okay on Mac?
Oh yes, I've played on it on an iPad. So yep, not a problem. On a MacBook, actually, MacBook Pro. Yeah, so should work fine in Safari. If you can download Chrome, the app on your MacBook, because the developers have told us it works better in Chrome. But if you have Internet Edge, is it Edge now? I can't remember what it was now. The latest Internet Explorer, which
it's Edge. Yeah, it works okay on Edge.
Yeah, because it's the same infrastructure as Chrome. It's based off the same algorithms, so it works exactly the same way. So yeah, we've had like some system requirements written up anyway, so they'll go out publicly anyway. But it's really basic. As long as you have a computer or tablet or phone that can run a browser fairly quickly, you're fine. Because we're running all this online, you don't have to worry about hardware requirements. The only thing you have to worry about is internet connection. And if you've got data on your phone, you're fine. Cool. So the last bit before I forget is the start and end time or end date. So if you include the start date as the date of the competition and the end date as the date of the competition, and then put
2 seconds. We can do it in front of our house.
Is that you, Kath?
I'm halfway across the road. Look, I don't.
Oh, you're right to mute yourself. Oh, Anya, is that you? Oh, thank you. There we go. So, sorry guys. So, it doesn't matter so much about putting the full time in here, because obviously, we're only human. You can't keep to the times exactly. So it's not going to do anything to the system if you run over time wise. It'll be fine. So the next bit is the weigh-in. So how does this work? So going back to that dashboard, across the top, you'll see the athlete list. So if you click that, you get taken to a full athletes list. And what that does is it'll take you to this page here, which shows you a complete list of all the athletes entered into your competition. Now we've gone through a couple of developments with this to make it even more interactive for your officials or whoever's going to be running the weigh-ins to make it easier. So across the side here, you'll see a little passport-looking ID card and also a pair of scales. Now, the ID card is to go onto that athlete's profile. It'll show you that, you know, what events they've entered, you know, what body weights they've weighed in the past, all those kind of stuff. But the scales will take you to this dashboard here.
Yeah.
Oh, and this is where you can weigh everyone in. So that's searched through various different methods. You can search by the name, you can search by their membership number. You know, it'll say on there, you can try by surname, first name, whichever that they have. That'll help search and find that athlete. So then once you've found them and you've clicked the name, you press next, and you can go through the process, and you'll see across the top here, it's like gives you the athlete search, then it'll take you to the actual category, which weight class they're in, confirm that, what's their actual weight, enter it here. And then once you've gone through all that, it gives you a confirmation window to say, okay, this person's weighed this much for this weight class. They've not made weight, they've made weight. So it gives you two options there. Now, if they've not made weight, for example, you'll come back to this athlete list and you'll see in a big red circle with their body weight class and whether they've made weight or not. So we've got a traffic light system from what one of our pairing masters asked for, and it was a great suggestion because from a refereeing point of view, it makes it a lot easier to know who's made weight and who hasn't, who's got time to go away and make, you know, try and lose the weight, if it's a senior event, and so on and so forth. So from here, it's a quick glance, you know, 5 people have made weight, you're still waiting on another 6, and you've got 2 failed the weight so far. So it's really useful tool to just look and glance at. We've also included
Andy.
Yep.
Also, top right there, if you we'll show you it on the interactive one. If you click it, you can choose whether you can choose those who have made weight, those who are waiting, and those who failed as a drop. So you only see those in that category. So you can subdivide whatever you're doing.
Yep. So it's a really useful tool, especially say if you still say you've got 15 minutes left of the weigh-in and you've still got 6 people waiting to get weighed in. You can look over and go, right, okay, it's these people, get onto the announcer, get the commentator to announce it to the hall. Such a people are waiting to get weighed in, make yourself to the weigh-in, otherwise you're not going to make weight. Because if no one turns up to weigh in, the system will automatically fail them, so they don't get entered into the competition. Cool. Okie dokes. So over to you, Trevor, on the competition formats.
So most of you all know these, especially down the left-hand side. Any there that you don't recognise? Everybody know what Nordic means? Yes? Nordic is the UWW representation of round robin. Okay, friendlies, they come at the time, and the system is quite good, and we'll show you it, how to work your friendlies out. And obviously leagues is the one that is being worked out at the moment. The 10% rule, the way that works is it starts with the lightest person in that weight group and puts everybody within 10% in a group. And then it starts with the next person, goes up 10%, next person goes up 10%, okay? There are a few parameters you can change within that, and we'll show you. Are they on the next slides, Andy? Let's have a look where we're at. Yes. Yes. I've got this bit running as well. So if we go to the next slide, you'll see we've weighed a whole group of people in. And you can see it says they're all there, they've not been assigned. And what you do, you go to a sidebar, and can you show the sidebar? Yeah, so you get to choose how many in a group. Okay, so you've got the minimum, Now, we always set that to 1. It defaults to 1. Because if you set it to 2 and a single person pops up, they don't show on the score sheet. So they don't get their walkover. Now, if you've got a national competition and you don't want to give medals for walkovers, you set it to 2. But if you want to give medals for walkovers, you set it to 1. And then obviously the maximum weight group is anything up to how many in there. That doesn't mean it will automatically sort them to that, because there might be 10 people, but they probably don't fit within 10%. But you know, if you don't want a repechage, you set it to 7, and then it will go to the pool system, and the percentage difference is automatically set to the 10%. That can be changed, but we advise not to. Okay, so what's the next one? Okay, so when you click it and you tell it to sort, so if you go to the next slide, Andy, it actually puts them into groups. Okay, now if you see with the maximum set at 10, you've got a group of 3, 2, 4, 6, and a group of 7, because they fit within the 10%. Okay, so you go to the next slide, and what you'll see now is that all of a sudden it isn't a group of, the group of 3 is the same, but it's divided the other group into 2. So what do you think?
Jess has raised his hand.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at, okay, Jess, go.
Yeah, quick question. Obviously, with this, if there is obviously pools or Nordic, is there a draw system? Does the draw take place? Does the draw have to take place before the competition, or does it have to take place there? How does the computer do the draw, or does it?
So when you say the draw, you mean random number draw?
Yes.
The moment you download them, the system automatically allocates the number. Just by importing, it gives everybody a random number.
Okay.
So it sorts it out from that.
How would it do? Could the system eventually build in a seeding system into it as well? Just a question.
It possibly could, but it would need some more development work. But it isn't outside of the possibilities.
Okay.
We don't do it, so we haven't. That's not a priority with us at the moment. But I think that it's been mentioned, so it could be done. Okay.
Thank you.
So the difference here is we've changed the actual maximum size of the group. So we've, instead of going for a group of maximum of 10, we've dropped it to a maximum of 4. So by setting the group, it does adjust the weight groups. So
yeah, so what we're saying by that is play around with it. That's where you've got the time between the end of weigh-in and the start of competition to just play with it, see how you can make the better sort of groups for everybody. Mick, you have your hand up.
Yes, mate. On the last competition in the pool system, they did something different. Are they doing? Is that going to be a constant now or not?
What did you mean by different, Mick?
They had 2 groups, and it was very. I know this. They end up having 2 pools in one group. I remember the guy that came, and then had them wrestling off against the people in the other group.
Yes,
and then they went to the final.
UWW thing.
No. This time you could come second in the group. Yeah. Then you wrestled the one from the other group, and then you went to the final.
Yes, that's UWW.
And that's going to be staying in, is it?
Yes, it is if we use a pool system. So it's a cross. So the winner of Pool A meets the second place of Pool B, and vice versa. So you could end up meeting the same person twice.
Yeah, that's fine. I just want to know.
So you end up with a true winner.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because it wasn't told in the last competition that's what they were doing.
No, they've always done that they've been doing that for several years, mate, for the pools. So,
Jess, did you have another question? Oh, you're on mute, mate.
Just on that, obviously, with the British, we will be doing true finals if we can obviously get on the 2 mats. So we'll be using a system where there's a finals as best we can. Obviously, there's 3 in the group, so this system will obviously be used in that.
Yeah, it's only if there's, so you can either, by default, the pool system comes in at 6 and 7. Okay, but we can allocate the pools to 4s and 5s as well to get to end up with a proper final rather than a round robin. Doesn't save on the matches, but you do end up with a final and a bronze medal match. So that's why that's done. And I think, well, it means we can actually make a thing about the finals, and you'll see that later when it comes to the next up screen.
Okay. Right. Yeah, Trevor, did you want to cover the fixed weight groups?
So, yeah, I mean, everybody knows fixed weight groups in terms of it automatically downloads them. So it puts them into categories. You don't have to sort them. So like a senior competition, if you have fixed weight groups, the same as we're doing with the under 17s and under 20s at the juniors, they are put into weight groups automatically. And all they then have to do is hit the weight. It's only the sub 16-year-olds, under 15s and below, where there's a match on the day. So it's not anything different from what we normally do.
Cool. So it's much simpler and easier for you guys when you're running an event or using the system. The only issue would come when, say, for example, someone puts in a random body weight in their booking when they're booking onto the membership system to book into their competition, and they don't put the right body weight class in, and then they come to weigh in and they're several body weight classes above what they put in. That's when you start leaving it to the referees to make decisions on.
Well, in reality, can you drag them? I'd have to check on that.
It's that one too. Anyway,
yeah, I think you may have to go back to the original thing, but because I'm thinking about if someone does miss weight and you want to allow them, I'm not sure how we allow them. I think there is a way of doing it. So at the moment, we're not doing that. So
so for lower level events, it's a lot more simpler. You don't have to worry about the rules as such. It's just when you hit the higher level events where they've got to make weight type of thing. So anyway, so moving on to the brackets themselves. So you've weighed everybody in, so you can see up at the top right corner. I'll zoom in. You've 88% have made weight. The rest have failed weight or not turned up. And you can see them all across the bottom that these are how many of each weight class have weighed in. So these actually these are progression bars. They'll move across as people weigh in. Now, from that, you can generate your brackets from this now. So what you can see in the top right corner, if I can move it, there we go, is 3 dots. You click that and you'll see the generate remaining brackets, re-import, set links, reset and delete. So these are all different sort of actions that you can take to help you create your session and whatnot. So what you want to do from here, so correct me if I'm wrong, Trevor, the generate remaining brackets are for any brackets that haven't been generated yet. So you can go into each individual weight class and generate those brackets individually. So if I go to the slide, so you click the little 3 dots within each weight class and you can generate, or you can go into the weight class itself. So you'll click that, click bracket, we'll show in the live system, and then within there, it'll say to the left, generate bracket. You click it and it'll generate the bracket for you. If all else fails, just generate all brackets. It'll generate everything for you in one click. Right, so the next bit is the traffic light system. So I don't know if anyone noticed, but there were these little round circles next to each weight class. Now, again, from some of the referees and officials who were using the system, they suggested, oh, this might be a good idea in terms of a quick glance to the bodyweight classes to know what needs finishing. So if there's a red circle, it means there's something that's not been finished. be it people haven't finished weighing in, or it hasn't been, the session hasn't been allocated, or be anything that there's something missing. So there's a big red circle to say you need to look at this. The amber, correct me if I'm wrong, Trevor, is actually, yeah. Trevor, could you remind me again what the amber one was?
So the amber is, so it goes from red to amber when they've weighed in, but you haven't generated the bracket. So, yeah. And then it goes to green when the bracket's been generated.
There we go. Yeah, I had a mind blank then. I was like, we're just talking about generating brackets. What am I doing? Anyway. So the traffic light system on the dashboard sits there, but then we also have a traffic light system, like we said, for, zoom in, the athlete list for the weigh-in. And as you guys know, we've already explained that one, but just to highlight it again, but when we zoomed in a bit. Green, they've made weight, red, they haven't, yellow, you're still waiting for them to turn up. So moving on. Next, we're looking at, does anyone have any questions so far? I know we're going through this pretty quickly, actually, so you're good? Cool. Right, so the next bit is the scheduling side of things. So if I zoom in, there we go. So when you go into your event and you click your schedules, from here, you'll see all your sessions. So across the top, click sessions, it takes you to this dashboard. From there, you can see where we said creating your mats, making them simple so you know where they are. So you've got mat A, B, and C. And then within that, you'll have each session around each mat. So if you've got session 1, mat A, you've created that. You create session 2 for mat B, and you create session 3 for mat C. Then from there, you've got your mat. So what you want to do is click these 3 little dots, and it will give you assign categories or remove session. So from there, what you want to do is click assign categories, and it'll take you to this side menu here. Because then what you want to do from there is select each weight class that you want to assign to that mat. So say if you've got, I don't know, the only 3 weight classes there, and you've got the luxury of 3 mats. You'll assign the 57 class to mat A, you'll assign the 65 to mat B, and so on and so on. So you can organize them that way. So if there's a way you want to run the sessions in a, like, say if you just want to have all the women's wrestling in the morning, you can assign them in that way and have, right, okay, session 1 will be X, Y, and Z, and you can structure your event in that way. Obviously, you've got us to hand to help with any of that. For questions, obviously, you have your competition organizer and all that to help you with how they want the event to run.
And if you have a very large weight category, you can assign it over 2 mats, and the system will automatically divide it over the 2 mats. So, and put them in order of the rounds, or however it's been designated. So, you don't have to stick to one weight category on one mat if you don't want to.
Yeah. Jess, you have a question?
Yeah, just on that, obviously, British, can we obviously assign the under-9s to our small mats and then move under-11s to 1 mat, and under-13s obviously across the 2 mats, the bigger mats?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Perfect.
So yeah, you'll know, like you could put mat A dash junior mat or youth mat or whatever. So just so you know, then that's the little mat, or you could even put the measurements of the mat in there if you wanted, just to make it easier for yourself. You could say mat A 6x6 meter. Yeah, it makes it easier for you guys or whoever's organizing it to know, right, okay, that's the kids mat, so then I don't put them on the 12x12 over there.
Yeah, that's just it. It's just making it easier for us when we come to this competition. And to be fair, I think if we put the mats, if we put age groups on mat, it might make it a little bit simpler for parents and coaches to know which age groups on which mat.
Yeah, definitely. And then once you've generated all this, so once you've created all this, the system then automatically compiles everything. So what it does is it creates the public bout list.
Yeah.
So what that is, that's open to everybody, to the general public who don't have a membership, to people with a membership. Now, there's a difference between people who've got a membership and have merged their accounts with the competition system to allow them certain functions, because they've got certain data linked to their accounts. Now, what we mean by that is, if you look at the top right corner here, if say I was entered as, say, Daniel, and I log in, and I go onto this public ballot list, and I log in on my account, I can click this top right button and say, only show my bouts. And I click that, it gets rid of everybody else's bouts. So all 450 bouts, gets rid of those and just shows me my, I don't know, 10 bouts. And then I know then off the side here, what my bout number is, who I'm fighting, and how many I've got. So that I've got a reference then. But then if you're a coach and you just want to see your athletes and your wrestlers and when they're wrestling, you log in with your account. You then assign, you can actually get access to this drop-down list. And then from there, actually, did I put screenshots in another? No, I didn't. Yeah. So from there, you just select your club, and then it will filter out everything just like it did with only showing your bouts, and it'll just show all your clubs. Now you will have to tap between sessions. So session 1, you're only seeing all the session 1 bout list here. Click session 2 and it'll show you their public bout list, and click session 3 and so on. Hence why you need to name them simply so people know to tap across type of thing. Cool. Any questions on that one? Oh yeah, Jess. Sorry, I put it on my phone down here.
Yeah, just on that display quickly. Is it possible that could evolve so you can have all like 3 or 4 displays showing each mark? Because I think when I was looking at it on the last time on an iPhone during the competition, I had to scroll all the way through map A before I got to map B, and I don't know if it could be simpler. Like you've got the display up at the competition on the screen.
We've already done it. We've already done it, Jess. that was a feedback from the comp, and they're tabbing the maps as well as the sessions. So yeah. It's this every time we do something, somebody says it would be nice too, and then okay. The only thing I might say, can you zoom in on the bout numbers on the left hand side, Andy?
Yep, there you go.
They are not the order of the bouts. They are the bout number in the bracket. So it's looking here 1, 2, 4. Now look, 5, 7. Look, it doesn't necessarily go in order. It picks that number up from the brackets, and that's still trying to figure out a way to put them in order without confusing everybody, because it's it is a bit difficult.
So just be wary of it. We are working on it. Like we're in communications with pairers, referees, competition organisers to try and figure out a way of doing it. And it's at the minute, it's quite a big thing to look at. So if we changed it, it could be something that could be catastrophic if we do it wrong. So we've got to take our time to do it right. So
every time we try something, it comes up with another problem, and it's no, that won't work. Or so yeah.
But yeah, sorry, Jess, you got another question?
Just on that thing, I think the only way to kind of solve it is just keep the bout numbers for the admin, because obviously it just confuses the public. And I know it's a technical thing, isn't it? The bout number now is a technical thing for the way the draw runs and way the competition runs as a competition through to the finals, and how it sorts the system boats up. But from a public's perspective, Joe Public looking at it.
Yeah,
it's not.
Yeah, we get that.
In that, they could obviously see if one's below the other, it's the next match.
Yeah. But that is something we did explore in a conversation, didn't we, Trevor, with various people. It's we'll take that down, Jess, and go feed back to the group on that one. That'd be great. Thanks for that. So next up is your view of the admin list. So an admin view. So if I zoom in, so what you'll have is it's slightly more detailed. So it won't have the filters that I had on the right. It does keep the athlete name, category, draw number, and bout number in that search function's there for the public as well. But the thing you'll have is upcoming and completed bouts. So you can actually switch between the two and go, okay, I can have a look at who's coming up now and scroll down. I can then see when's the gold medal match, when's the bronze medal match. So it's highlighted here. We've took feedback from previous events. It's just been like working through a very long list of tasks to get done. So we've done that. And you can allocate and say, right, okay, if we want all the gold medal matches, all the finals to be on a certain map, or if we want to make sure that it's timed that map 1, session 1, finishes on a finals for a gold medal match, and then you'll have no sessions on the other 2 maps. So all the focus is on that middle map, for example. You can do that. You can rearrange things and put a pause to certain maps and put that focus if it's a really big match.
And if the system has allocated too close a gap between 2 athletes, you can just move one of those matches down.
Yeah.
So you can see how that where the red arrow is. You just click and drag, and you can move it wherever you want. And that was part of the problem why we couldn't do bout numbers, actual consecutive numbers, because all of a sudden you then drag this down here, and it was number 7, and it's now number 9. That was one of the problems why that didn't work. So somebody goes, oh, I'm on at number 7, and oh, where's my number 7 bout gone? So that was causing us problems. But it does definitely help to put all the bronze medal matches and all the gold medal matches in the same, consecutively. So you've got all the finals all at once, and you can have them where you want them to be.
Yeah, Jess, yep.
Just a quick one. Obviously, with the matches and the new system, and obviously doing change the way we run competitions in the UK. And I think our athletes have been a bit shocked how quick these matches come round a competition. Does the system automatically kind of have that boat break, or is it kind of a guesstimate for that 10-minute break between matches? Because it can be very. Does the system record the pins and the time duration automatically, or is it something manual that we've got to kind of still at the moment to kind of keep our eye on it?
Trevor, do you
generally what they do is you sort of, the pairers know how many matches are going to be 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And I had, at the Midlands, had some sat with me who got a really good set of eyes, was looking at, oh, those 2 are too close to each other, and we just moved them. So it's about scanning this list for people's names who are too close to each other and just dragging the bout a little bit further away. That's all. But he does record, he does timestamp every single point. Yeah.
Yep. We'll show you that when we go on the live system, the sandbox where we do all the testing and everything in, which you guys will get access to play on. We're just working on that at the minute.
I think what we'll do there, Andy, is we'll take each one, each one at a time on the sandbox, rather than just say, pick one. We'll say, right, let's have an hour, and we'll let you, we'll work you through a little bit to help you.
We'll talk about that in a sec. So the next bit was the next up screen. So I'm sure you guys have all seen this at events. So again, another reason why it's important to put your mats as simple as you can, because if you're going to name your mat something, we'd stick with mat 1, 2, and 3, or A, B, and C, just because that's what's going to be across the top. So people are looking for that as it moves across. So that now it will automatically rotate round. So if you've got 4 mats going, it'll stay on for like 30 seconds to show you the next 7 bouts on here. Now, bear in mind, the next up screen is for the general public. It's for the spectators. It's not meant for the coaches or the athletes. It's really meant for people who are just watching and want to keep up with what's going on, and they're there to enjoy the event. Because we're aiming to get more people to come to these events to support the wrestlers and draw in new wrestlers. So sorry, Trevor, were you going to say something?
Yeah, the order in which you put the mats on the ground in the competition is important, because as you look at the next up screen, it will always go mat 1 to the left, or mat A to the left, and then mat 2, mat 3. So if you need to set the mats up for from a spectator's viewpoint.
Yep.
I'm not sure how we're going to do this for you, Jess, because you've got them in a square.
Problems.
That's going to take some thinking.
Yep. So what we'll do now, has anyone got any questions before we move on to the next bit? We all good? Cool. So what we'll do, we'll go into the sandbox and show you all together what it looks like live. So we'll go through and tinker with it and show you what it looks like in a live setting. Just to give you a break from slides. And then there we go. Right. And then we can come back and I can show you the score sheet and the various little different bits that are a little harder to show you on a browser because they weren't developed for a browser. So let me just pull up the sandbox. There we go. Oop. Now I'll share my screen again. Don't think you guys want to look at my ridiculous emails. There we go. Right, cool. Now I want to see everyone again, so I'm going to hide you on my phone. There we go. There we go. Right, cool. So let's go back to events. Right. So here's your dashboard. And like we said earlier, you can click this little button here and it'll open up the side menu. Now you'll get more options when you actually go into your event. Now, Trevor, should we go just into test? Or test juniors? Which one do you think? Oh, have we lost Trevor?
No, I was on mute. Go into the tests, open it up and let's see what we've got.
There we go. So as you can see, you've got more options now. So it's a little bit easier to navigate some of the certain bits in here. So if you wanted to see what the public bout list looks like, click here, opens a new window so you don't lose where you were, and it'll pull up the public bout list. So you can see there's sessions in mat 1, session 1 in mat A. You got nothing in mat B because there was only one person, so they automatically got a walkover. And then you got session 3 on mat C, and you've got all of the sessions here. Then going back here, I don't think we've completed. No, we've not completed them. So, but the results page is here, and it will show you the results. And this is automatically sent to a public sort of page once it's completed, and then we'll put that on the website for you. So at the minute, we started completed some bouts because this was basically a walkover. So you'll see Trevor won the 125 kilo cuts.
I put on a bit of weight.
And then if you wanted to, you click the blue arrow, it takes you to the actual session. And then if there was a match and it wasn't a bye, you could click it and it'll show you the timeline, but we'll show you those. We'll show you those later on. So, no, I clicked the wrong button. Anyway, never mind. Go back into test. So we're not going to weigh everyone in again, just so we, not have to reset it, do we, Trevor?
No, they're all we weighed them in previously, so.
Yeah. So from here, we'll go into sessions so you can have a look at that. So from here, like we said, add new, clicking this, you can go into mat, and then that'll bring up this and you can start creating that. Now, we should have a score sheet now that this has been all done. So let's pull that up. Here we go. So with the refereeing, the referees have a score sheet which inputs into both the next up screen, the scoreboard, and it tracks all the data. So it's really important to have a good timekeeper on it, and referee and what have you. So let's just look at session 1, mat A. Once you click it, it brings you to the session list. So you get your bout list of all the matches. So this is all in chronological order. So there's not much here for you to worry about, or for the person who's operating it. They just click the first one. Now, this looks a little funny because it's meant to be for a tablet. So I'll zoom out a little bit. There we go. So this is what it'll look like on a tablet. So just imagine it's a tablet, not your laptop. So you'll see it's got the, for the referee's sake, we've got the logos here of the, of the clubs the wrestlers are from, their names, You've got your cautions across the top. So if I click that now, you'll see it gets a drop down list of all the different types of cautions you could get. And then you can click the middle one just to get rid of them. And then the same for the red wrestler. You can just dismiss it. From here, this person controls the timer. So if they forget to start the timer and they start putting in points, they're not allocated to something. So
Click the 2.
you can click undo and start the match properly, because then otherwise it'll, yeah, anyway. So if someone puts something in that's wrong, for example, they can just click undo and it'll get rid of it. But they can click that, and then this timer starts on the scoreboard. Now, before you do that, there's something you need to do in terms of, because it works on Wi-Fi and you're doing it over multiple devices, the timer may come out of sync because you've got several different computers inputting onto the same server, so it's conflicting the timer a bit. So what you want to do is you open this side menu here. So you click the three lines here, and you just click sync timer. Now it'll bring this up, and it'll show you the timer on your device, and then time on your device, and then time on the interweb. You click sync, start syncing in progress, and then it shows you how much it was off, and then it will keep doing it until it syncs it. Now you've got to do this on all your score sheets, and you do it on the scoreboard as well. So if I've zoomed out a lot there, haven't I? Scoreboard, there we go. So let's go Mate, right, there we go. So you can see the timer started and I paused it. Now on here, all you have to do is just click the screen. So use your mouse, click the screen, sync timers, same again. And then that syncs the timers to within, what, a couple of milliseconds, is it, Trevor?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's nigh on. Oh, yes, Jess?
Would you have to do that every match, or do you have to
No.
just every so often? Just check
At the beginning of each session, and then occasionally the referees will say it's out of sync, and you just wait for a gap between the matches and sync it. That's all.
Yeah, because the great thing is it knows it's right, as in the only thing that's slightly off would be the scoreboard.
Yeah.
So as long as the it's only out ever by what, about a second or two, Trevor?
Yeah, a couple of seconds sometimes. Yeah.
At its worst, like say if an event organizer's forgotten to sync the timers, that's the worst it's going to be. And then if the referees deem it, they'll just stop the session for a second while we sync it. And as you saw, it takes a couple of seconds to sync, and then off you go. So yeah, that'd be fine. So the other thing we did within the score or the score sheet is, as you noticed, as you're putting in the points in, there's a timeline across the bottom. So that's more for the referees to keep a track of where the points have gone and who to. But then also, if I put a caution in, for example, I don't know, caution, it'll show it there as well. So let's give them a verbal caution. So that gets filled in as it goes along. This also gets populated in your dashboard as an admin. So it tracks everything, and then it becomes, well, we will aim to make this like a public thing for people on the results page when we get the brackets sorted for a public view. But from an admin point of view, for what you guys can see, you can go into the bracket on the admin page and you can have a look and go, okay, this person scored at this time. So it'll say 2 minutes into the match, they scored these many points. So I'll just
end the match. Yeah.
And it asks you. So what we did was, obviously people might accidentally click things. So we made sure there was a lot of, are you sure you want to do that? So we click end bout, and then on here, they're like, well, who won? Click the blue, and then from there, go to the classification. Obviously the referee will know. On the score sheet, do let them know this is touch screen. So if they need to, just touch the screen and swipe up, because they wouldn't know that they can just scroll to find the different, classifications. So if they can't find it, just tell them to scroll, then click it. Then
most popular ones are at the top.
Yes, we made sure. Yeah, we made sure.
So, yeah, publish that, Andy, and then leave it at publish, and then go back to the scoreboard.
1 sec. There we go. scoreboard.
No, you'd already got the scoreboard open, hadn't you? Yeah.
No, no.
It turns up on the scoreboard, all the information.
Yeah.
So,
So this everyone then sees it. It depends on how quickly the score sheet operator runs through it, but we generally advise to leave it up for a bit just to let the spectators see this, because it's obviously, you know, the athlete wants to know who's won, the coaches want to know who won, and how you know, all the details on there for them. Yeah, Jess?
Yeah, I just saw, obviously, then you were showing the scores on the actual score on the iPad, but did you say you scroll, all you do is press stop on the timer and then press pin as a finish result? There's no pin option on the kind of scoring options?
yes. Yeah, there's fall. There's an F for fall. It's in with the cautions.
Oh, is it? So it's in, a pin's in with the cautions at the top?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me do the next one, I'll show you.
Yeah.
So there you go, fall.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then let's just press play first.
Yeah.
And then we'll end that. And again, Daniel's won by a victory, by a fall. And there you go, publish, job done. And then publish again. And then we go back to the bout list.
But the moment you go to the next bout, that score on the scoreboard disappears.
Yep.
So you got to remember to give it a few seconds.
Yeah, just so you can see what has happened. Right, let's
go to the brackets, Andy.
Yes.
You can see the timeline.
Thank you. Right. Open it. Aha, there we go. Right, so there's different views for the different types of, you know, competition, you know, formats. So this is a round robin. So if we click on a completed bout, for example, you'll see results, timeline, score sheet, and scoreboard. So if you wanted to, like, say, let's see the results for this match. Oh,
no, that's to enter a result. The results are already there.
Sorry.
There's your timeline.
There's your let me zoom in because it's a little zoomed out. Give me a sec. There we go. So there's your timeline now. So it'll give you each wrestler, who's red, who's blue, what the time was when they got those points issued. So when I actually started the clock, they got 4 points at 5:51. So another reason why it's important for them to know, right, start the clock. But that's down to the referees. It's not, you know, as long as they're aware and the refs are, oops, there we go.
So zoom in and show one of the finished bouts, show the actual scoring on the actual bracket. So you zoom in a little bit and you can see the little circles, the roundels.
Yes. Oh, and before I mention that, so if you use Chrome, for example, again, click the three dots and then you can zoom into things. So say if you want to put the scoreboard up on a TV and it doesn't quite look right, you can either zoom out or zoom in and it'll, you know, fit to that screen. So we've made it so it's not specifically made for a certain type of telly or monitor or projector or whatever. We've made it so you can fiddle with it to fit whatever equipment you might be using. So if you're using just a standard 20-inch telly or monitor, PC monitor for your scoreboard, it'll work with that. So yeah, sorry, Trevor, you zoom in. There we go.
Yeah, now you can see that, one of the green ones. You can see the points scored and the technical points, both in the match and where they sit in the actual pairing bracket at the top. So round one, you'll see, did I beat my son or not? No, the little son beat me. So there we go, 10-0. But yeah, so it goes green when they win, but also records the actual points and the classification points. So you've got a good view of everything that's gone on. So and then it adds them up at the end, and this is how it works out the winner. You know, based on the standard criteria of the number of falls and all of that, if the points are not matched. So.
Yep. Let's go back to, there we go. Yeah, no, I think we've covered that. sessions. Yeah, cover that. There we go. So
The only
athletes.
thing we didn't cover, Andy, was closing a session once everybody's weighed in.
Yes, because we've already done it. It's going to be a little hard to show. So let's go back to tests. Sorry, I misclicked again. Let's go to the weigh-in. So should we just go through the weigh-in for this person again?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got ABC athlete, move over, shows them there to confirm their name, and this is the weight class they've entered in at 57. Click the tick, click next, and it takes you to the weigh-in menu. So they step on the scales, the referees tell you what weight it is. Let's go 57, they made weight. And then it shows you, right, they made weight, it's green, they're exactly on the dot. And then they confirm. And then it takes you back to the start. And it says weight.
Type HOS in the bracket.
Oh, sorry.
Type HOS in there. And it brings up everybody that follows those criteria. So as soon as you start typing letters, it starts to bring in whoever there is that matches that list. So makes it easy to find, very easy to find people.
Aye.
If you've got 3 letters of somebody's first name or surname, you can find them.
There we go. So also the 3 dots that were mentioned on the slides, if you click those on the weight class itself, it'll bring you up a list of athletes, bracket, and edit. So if you click athletes, shows you the athletes in that bracket and whether they're ready or not. So obviously the traffic light system comes in here. They're all green because they've all made weight. And then from there, you can either go to each athlete individually. So if you wanted to weigh them in from here, you can do. You can find the bouts, you can find the profile. So say we click the profile, we can see Trevor's been in a lot of competitions. He's competed a lot. You'll find he's in a lot of clubs.
And I've got no control of my weight.
Terrible weight management skills. And from there, it shows you how many wins he's had, how many losses he's had, how many medals he's won, and which medal he's won. So is it bronze? Is it silver? Is it gold? So every athlete, every person who's entered with their membership, they get this profile so they can track all their stuff. So they can see every competition they've entered. They can see the body weight they made for every competition, so they can track their weight now. So if they want to check, right, okay, or if the coaches, the club want to check, oh, what's your weight been like the past year? Like, have you made weight regularly at competition? Have you not made weight regularly at competition? Why is that? And then it gives you that chance to go in as a coach to have a look if there's anything there that you can help them with.
As a coach, you can ask your athlete to give you access to this information. You don't get it automatically. They have to give you access, but there is a process to request the access. That's another reason you need to log in using your Go membership profile. So go back to the bracket, Andy, and choose the edit function.
Yep, give me 1 sec. Oh, then test. Right, my eye's going funny. There we go. Right.
Not there. One of the brackets, choose edit, because you did the.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
My eyes have gone funny.
This is where you can change the format. So you can change whether it's round robin, pool, or repechage. You can add a weight allowance. So you can say they've got a 2 kilo weight allowance. It works that out. And you can change the timer. We've only got 2 timers in there at the moment. We've either got 4 minutes or 6 minutes. It automatically allocates the 6 minutes to under 20s and above and 4 minutes to the other. But if you want to reduce it, you can do. So there is a default, but it is changeable. So if you click there and go to, instead of round robin, you can go to pools. You've got to reset the bracket, but it is possible to then go in and change the format. So
Jess has a question.
Yeah, sorry guys. Just on the access to the information on the system, by the do club admins would have access to their members' performances?
They have to ask. They have to ask the member.
Is it an opt-in thing, or do they have to opt in to allow it, or how does it done?
They're sent an email saying that you are requesting access, and they have to grant you access. It's a GDPR thing because it has their weight in, and that is sensitive information. So they have to approve the access.
Okay. And from a talent perspective, if talent pathway coaches have access, or regional coaches on that,
you could ask any of your athletes for access.
Okay, and just on obviously the system, the finishing the system, just the way it pulls the competition results together for obviously the awards of competitions and stuff. That's my next one.
How do you mean?
Sorry, I won't do that. Just obviously at the moment when you scroll through the system, it shows the results and it's so if you're doing awards at the end of a competition, you've just got a nice simple format showing.
Oh yes, yeah, and we are making it so that it will actually. It doesn't just give the first three.
Yeah, that's
the next thing. It will give a list of their placings right the way down. If there's 20 in a group, it will register them from number 1 to number 20. So they haven't quite got to that yet, but.
So I've gone into the actual live system. So this is live data from the English juniors that we hosted. Now. Let me zoom in a bit for you guys because I had to zoom out for another bit. So there we go. So this is the results page, the final results page of the event. So across the top, you've got every single different category, and you can click across, not a problem. And then each weight class is there with the bronze, silver, and gold medal. Now, not everybody. The public doesn't have access to this blue arrow here, whereas you guys will, as the people running events. So when you click that, it takes you to the bracket. And then the bracket, you can then, like we said earlier, you can tap on the bout, you get the timeline, that'll pull up the timeline. So this is actual data from an event where it showed at 3 minutes 49, they scored 2 points, and 2 points again at 3:34, and so on and so on. And the match ended at 11:01. So everything there will end up showing you from the data. Yeah, Jess, you got another question? Oh, you're muted. Oh, you don't. Oh, cool. Sorry, I just looked over at my phone and I thought. Grand. So that was just to show you the results page from what you'd asked earlier. So let me get rid of the live system. I don't want to accidentally reset an event. It's the last thing. That's an evil laugh, Trevor.
Can I ask a question?
No.
No. Yes, go ahead.
On the pathway system, for the coaches and the pathway, would we be able to get access to the points scored and against, not the weights and stuff, but people's matches results, points scored for and against?
So we all this is accessible to any British wrestling staff. So be it pathway staff and what have you. You'd have to request it through Hugh, but yeah, there shouldn't be a problem with that. I would have thought.
That'd be a good tool for us, wouldn't it, Jess?
It was partly one of the reasons why we did it was to help everybody. Hence the body weight side of things. That was to help coaches because we're a body weight sport. We should be able to manage body weight. So giving you those tools should help with that. To visualize it. Same with where the points have been issued. So from a referee's point of view, that's something we could then review later on. If there's been disputes, we can go in and go, right, okay, well, this point was actually done at this time. So we can go refer to the video and go straight to that time. And go, okay, right, skip to 2 minutes 11. There you go. Right, now we can see how that was done. So it's just making life a lot easier for everybody. So, right, let's... So going back to this, Trevor, have we missed any? Oh, yeah, there was one thing that I failed to mention on the next up screen. So with the next up screen, let me pull up an actual bracket. So the way it works is, as you saw on the slides, it showed one where it didn't have any highlighted matches. So when on the score sheet, when the referee presses play, it highlights that match as the current match. So the scoreboard or the next up screen only shows the current match when it's actually in play. So that another thing that they're complete control over from the score sheet is the scoreboard and the next up screen. So then people know, right, okay, that match is actually happening right now. We want to go to the mat and watch it. So in the long run, when we get bigger events and say we're at the Rico Arena and people are in the bar area getting a drink or some food, and they see the next up screen, all of a sudden their match gets highlighted. They know it's on, so they can run back to the venue and watch the match. Cool, right. I think we've covered everything, haven't we, Trevor?
As far as I can tell, I think. So let's see if there's something that people think we've missed.
Yeah. Any questions, guys? Let's stop sharing the screen so I can see you guys on here rather than my phone. Oh wow, my room is dark. Let me put my light on.
Six from the dark side, there it is.
So Yoda has a question apparently with the dark side, but
no, I was talking to somebody that asked a question about being able to change the colour of the singlets. So I'd answered in the chat. I don't think it's possible. So it is in friendlies, but it isn't. Once the system is decided, it's decided. Go on, Jess.
Will this system eventually be able to kind of hold match data, like as a portal or something? So if we obviously get to the point where we can video and live feed matches, that the match is stored along with the map data.
Oh, interesting one. Not sure that had ever come up as the possibility of using this system to stream has been discussed.
Yeah.
But I don't know about storing it. There are hosting sort of limits to the amount of data you can store on these things. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, so sorry, Jess, I accidentally turned off the transcript, so I'll put it back on. I missed your question. Was it to do with live streaming?
Yeah, basically, with this system could live stream matches, or it could store obviously like major championships from a performance view that we coaches could go back, watch matches with the athletes instead of trying to watch it on somebody's. Yeah. Obviously, if there's any calls, replays, and stuff like that we can use just for our own in-house training for referees and professionals and athletes.
It's been discussed. The reason why it isn't on here currently as at the forefront is a couple of reasons. So the first one is Wi-Fi capacity. So we have to generate our own Wi-Fi. So another thing for you guys to be wary of around running this system is you need to have some kind of Wi-Fi, be it a hotspot, be it the venue Wi-Fi. We would suggest bringing your own. So if you've got a phone that does data and you've got unlimited data, you can hotspot off that. It works perfectly fine. We've run whole events off Trevor's phone, just to try it and see if it worked. And it's in some cases it works better than having an actual dedicated router. If you've got the capacity and the money, you could buy like a Wi-Fi router like we have. It's we've got a Dratec router where you put the SIM card in, and it's a data SIM card. It then generates that into Wi-Fi, and then you can extend that and do all sorts with it. So then you've got something that's stable.
There's a warning against using venue Wi-Fi. It has let us down more times than it has been successful. So.
Yeah, warning as always is the venues will try anything to get you to make a booking. So they'll say whatever they want. So we've had this with say Lillishall. Remember when we did a test event there with one of the senior squads? They said they had corporate Wi-Fi of up to a certain gigahertz and had so much bandwidth and all this other stuff. Because I'd asked, the reason why is I knew from being a weightlifter there that the Wi-Fi was terrible. We turned up and it didn't work, did it, Trev?
No, it did not. Okay.
I think that
So-
was the used your hotspot, didn't we? So
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
so that's
So
just
Ranjit's got a question.
Yep.
Let someone else other than Jess talk.
It's just a quick one. Are we saying that all potential athletes under 9s are needing access to the CMAT system to keep a log of all their performances, their weights, or when are we expecting them to jump into the system?
So what we're doing at the minute is we've got everything can run through the system now. So anything from a grassroots competition all the way up to an international event can run through the system. At the minute, we can't do leagues because it's being created as we speak. Into clubs, I think we can run through this, can't we, Trevor? So
Yeah. No, I think I know Ranjit's question.
Yeah,
It will automatically store their information whether they need it or not. So they don't have to have access unless, but if you as a coach wanted to see their access, they would then have to log in. Their parents could create the login and give you access to it. But it's, that's the only time. They don't even need to know about that until they get to a level where you need to monitor them as a coach. So.
Yeah, just to finish off Jess's question as well, we are looking to live stream things. The reason why we haven't done it is it's just dropped down the priority list. There's been more important things to do. So what we're going to do is link it into YouTube. So we have a YouTube channel. It's growing, what have you, but within that it has a function where we could link it so we can stream through YouTube. We just need to find a way to get the internet access for it, and that's where a third-party company will come into play at some point in the future. We could potentially look at, but that's just dropped down the list at the minute. We do have a CCTV that records all the matches throughout the day anyway for the referees. The only issue with that has been there's a lot of it. So I know I've got all of it, and I've just not had the time to even sit down and watch a full day's or weekend's worth of competitions to break them up into matches and upload them to YouTube. So it's just been a bit of a nightmare. But Selena.
Hey. Yeah, the site, the app, it looks really good. Really easy to follow as well. So well done on that. Not strictly related to that, but when weigh-ins happen, how do we know that we're weighing the person that's registered? Because there's no checking of ID or anything. So what is stopping someone else weighing in on behalf of, let's say, someone who's a 2 or 3 kg above weight?
So that would be a referee's question, and funnily enough, I'm working on that at the minute with the referees. Now, me having been a referee in another bodyweight sport for as long as I have, the one thing that you're expected to do is turn up with your membership card or some form of ID, be it your driver's license, be it your passport, birth certificate. You have to have something with you because we're a bodyweight sport, and that it's happened in the past for me as a referee, where someone's tried to impersonate someone else. Someone's turned up hiding weights under their t-shirts, to make a bigger bodyweight class. There's been so many different types of weird and wonderful ways, creative ways, I should say, they've tried to cheat the system. But what we're looking at, oh, sorry.
Do you want to go back to the slideshow and show the membership card?
Oh, yeah. 1 second. So this is something we've been working on.
At the moment, it's pretty basic, but we'd set it up for coaches to have all their qualifications and credentials, but then it showed them for everybody, so we didn't go much further with it. But
yeah, so at the minute, we've got a membership journey piece of research being carried out. Once that's done and we know what direction we want to go into, let me just share slideshow from current slide. There we go. Let's zoom in on this. Look at that mug. So what we've done is we went away and created a license that looks just like a standard UWW license, but for British wrestling. So in the future, once we find out, what direction we're going to go into, this will be automatically generated for you on the membership system or in the competition system. And your name will populate, what membership you have, when it expires, when this was downloaded, and what credentials are in date. So what's the darker color is ones that are in date and ones that are not in color. The more up-to-date one has got a line through it, and that'll show that they're not up to date, and you can't enter because you've not done X, Y, and Z. So that as well, you can't forge that unless someone's got insane levels of Photoshop skills. But even then, we'd spot that because you can just log into the membership system and double check. And if that membership number, is put into the system, it checks whether that membership's active. So if they give you, a membership number and it doesn't correspond with that person, again, it won't work. But yeah,
I think, can I share?
Oh, yeah, you should be able to. Yeah.
Where's the share? Where is it?
It's top right corner next to the big red button.
Oh yeah, there it is. So I want to share that. Okay, can everybody see that? Can you see it, Andy?
Yep, sorry.
Yeah, that is what you get at the moment when you click the download. You can sort of see it's in a grey button, but it takes that information from Go membership. We could ask people to provide that, which means they have to upload a photograph and you've got at least some sort of information. But we've always worked on an honour system. But I think we're getting to a point where we need to move past that and actually make people show a membership. But again, we've got to get people comfortable with what we're doing now before we ask them to do too much. So we're going too fast for some people already.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, has anyone got any other questions that they'd want to ask?
There's a lot of quiet people down the right-hand side.
Yep. Well, if anything comes to mind in the meantime, what we'll do is continue working on getting everyone access to a demo site so they can play on it and get to learn the system and that kind of thing. That's with the developers right now, and they're working on it at the minute. We've just had other bits to sort of update before the event, Jess's event actually, which means Trevor have to test now. Actually, well, not tonight. So I still need to go to the gym, but anyway.
It won't be the first time we spent late nights doing this sort of thing on early mornings. It's testing this can take a couple of hours because you have to virtually run a competition just to find out what's working and what's not.
So yeah, we'll work through it. But if that's okay with everyone, then you've all got our emails. So if you have any questions, or ring us or email, we're an open door. It's fine. And yeah, we'll help you with anything you might have. So other than that, thanks a bunch for popping on. Oh, Jess. Oh, there you go.
Last one, guys. Don't forget for your entries for the British guys. Last week to go. Please get your entries in. Spectators, tickets as well. Get it all sorted. Obviously, all your coaches will need to provide your athletes with your coach membership ID for them to register as well.
And you as a coach will have to register.
Yeah, all coaches will have to register as well. So please ensure that you are ready. When we are running the weigh-in, we're going to ask the athletes to get ready in the changing rooms and come to the weigh-in room ready to weigh in. We're not going to have everyone stripping off in the weight room. So it's going to be a little bit less hectic than it was at the English. So we're going to have the people getting ready, and we'll be letting them in a little bit more single file to go and weigh in. So it's a little bit better delivery than it was at the English.
Yep. And when you log into your membership portal, the landing page is your My Profile, and your membership number's on the left-hand side underneath your photograph or your profile picture. So that's where you can find your membership number to provide when to your athletes. Ranjit.
Yeah, just last one. Is the CMATs live for us to register onto it now?
Yeah. Well, okay. I'll share the slides. There's a link there. It's just www.c-mats.com.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, great stuff. Right, cool. Well, not everyone's
Sorry,
got.
Andy, did you mean access for training, Ranjit?
Just have a go on it, just to see what it's about.
So you
for-
want the sandbox one? We want the sandbox one.
Yeah.
So
I mean, for me, I
for
find
to
it.
merge your account. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, like I said earlier, we're working on that at the minute. So once we get that sorted and everyone can get access to it, we'll email everybody to say, yeah, here you go, have a play.
Yeah. It seems quite information hungry, and there's a lot of slides that look the same on it. So I'm sure it's going to be a fair few hours for me.
yeah, it's going to be fun. It's it is sort of intuitive. I mean, Katie, Ellen's granddaughter, just took one look at it and went, yeah, pretty well picked it up just by looking at it. I was very annoyed. So.
I was very happy. I was like, we've done it right. It means that you can just pick it up.
Yeah, I suppose so. I was just thinking, this. Here we go. There's a lot. It's taken. How long were we working on this? About a year, weren't we, to get it to this stage? So
yeah. So for Katie to pick it up that quickly, we were very happy. It's we've done the right things. So
yeah.
But
right, guys.